I want to tell you, I'll tell you this little tale. It's one we do on the dinner circuit, and I'll keep it fairly tight because I promise you'll be down for 10 o'clock, and you will. We did Bullseye for, well, 15 years, 1980 it started, and 1994 it finished. And the first year we did it, it was crap. It set the industry back 20 years. Oh, and in 1994, when we finished, it was still crap. We just drove home in a Bentley and bollocks to you. That's what we did. No, but it really is absolutely true. Wonderful story. And we used to bring them in. And when it was really big, the series was massive, late 80s, early 90s, one year we had 64,000 people applied to get on the programme. 64,000. A lot of these letters were written in crayon. Because where they came from, they weren't allowed to use sharp instruments. So we didn't bother with them. But the selection was fairly critical. And what we used to do, we used to bring 6 pairs of contestants in on a Monday, and Monday through to the following Friday, 13 nights. We did 2 shows a night with 6 pairs, you see, 3. And we got the whole year's television in 2 weeks, right? Blocked them off. So we did them in May. So September it started transmissions, they ran through to March, and that's how we did it. And so every day, from the Monday through, towards the end of May, we used to bring 6 pairs of contestants in at lunchtime, and we used to take them through the whole game. The floor manager said, right, you stand here, you sit there, you throw the darts, you do and all that, you see. They all knew that the star prize was worth then, in the early days, £6,000. That's all we were allowed to spend. That was it. Ceiling, you see. They were fairly certain it was going to be a speedboat. Yeah, remember that? And we always used to make sure that when the people won the speedboat, they lived in Walsall. Because that's as far away as you can get from the sea. Because we didn't like them winning. Now, the producer we had was a wonderful man. He was a little bit light on his feet, but a lovely chap. Good friend of mine. Peter Harris, he now directs 15 to 1, Bill Stewart's thing, right? So we used to bring, keep ahead of the game now, 6 pairs of contestants, rehearse the whole shebang through, everything from 1 till 4 o'clock. And then at 7 o'clock, we invite an audience, similar to yourselves, and then we do the game. First, with the first 3 pairs of contestants, we play the game, and then the second 3. And they've seen the game, they've seen the cameras, they've got used to it, all that business, see? Right, we're there this particular day, and it's the second day into the run, I think, and I'm up in the gallery, which is where the boys are up there with the monitors, watching all the screens with the contestants going through the game. Because once we've started to record a programme, we can't change the contestants. If we got a couple of tosspots in, right, and we started to record, we can't suddenly say, you're a pair of wankers, off you go. We get 2 more in. You can't do that. So we've got to trust the selection process. So we're watching them rehearse this particular day. I'll never forget it. Harris is there, up there with the freezers there, and we see we've got 2 guys from Belfast on. Now this is not in any way marginalising the Irish. This is a true story. So we're watching them, and they don't want to be there, honestly. They really don't want to be there. You can see them saying, right, I stand here, is it? Right, what? Where do I go now? Oh, Christ. Shit. Am I the dart player? What's he? Who's... Harris is looking at me, he says, look at those 2 bloody people there. He said, they're bloody shitting themselves. He said, if we have them on tonight, they'll freeze, we'll lose a programme. And it was costing us about 80 grand to do a programme then, which was a lot of money then in the early 80s. He said, what can we do? He said, they're going to bloody freeze. I said, well, look, why don't we get them pissed, give them 200 quid and tell them they came second? He said, we can't do that, we'll have to leave it. So we left it. So we left them in. So the audience came in the evening, they're all sat there, right? And sat in the three you remember the 3 pairs at the bottom. Here's your host, just do the Bullseye music for us there, David. Just play it. You come a bit louder than that, if you could. It's a Bullseye. And here's your host, Jim Bowen. And I used to walk down the steps. Do you remember? Walk down 3 steps. Used to read the imaginary letter, because nobody ever wrote to us. And I got to the bottom, and I turned, and I saw these 3 people, 3 pairs of contestants, right? The 2 Irishmen were the first pair, one sitting, and that guy standing next to him with his hand on his shoulder. And I turned, and I now know what blind panic is. I'd never ever seen it before. They're looking out like that, like rabbits with headlights. I said, good evening. What? What? I said, where are you from? And this guy's answering the questions, right? I said, where from? I said, I live next door to him. So I thought, well, I said, and where do you live? He said, I live right next door to him. So I lose the interview, right? So I think, I've got to keep them, can't change them, so I moved on. The next couple, 2 Barnsley miners, no problem. And the third couple, a married couple from Maidstone in Kent, right? We played the game. Boom, first round, the 2 boys, fortunately, from Belfast, they go. We get rid of them in about a minute. And they've won £20. Remember that, £20. They've gone, right? Then we come to the commercial break, and you remember there we used to lose the second couple, who were the 2 Barnsley miners. They've gone, now remember, this is mid-80s, with £640 in the mid-80s to miners in North Yorkshire, South Yorkshire as well. That was a lot of money. They've gone with £640. Commercial break, do you remember that? After the break, I came back, I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's a charity throw. And we got Eric Bristow on, and he got 65 with 9 darts, wanker, get rid of him. He's gone. And then we've got the couple, the winning couple, the couple from Maidstone in Kent, charming couple. I said, now that you've got a board there, keep out of the black and in the red. Nothing in this game. You got it, right. So they go to the board and they throw, and they get 8 of the 9 prizes. Serious loss, this to us, right? Ooh. So they come back and stand there. I said, right, you have won, and I read it out. Your video cassette recorded 2 mountain bikes, weekend in Paris, worship, there you go. And you've got £720. Would you like to gamble that for tonight's star prize, which is hiding behind Bully? And I know, this instance, it's a car, right? So I'm standing there, and I'm not allowed to help them. I've got to stand like this. I said, what would you like to do? So they said, Jim, no, we're fine. We've had a night. Thank you very much. We'll take the money, and we'll take the bloody bendy Bully. You remember that bloody thing that was? And the Ratner's tankard, and the plastic darts. And so, right, there you are, you have your prizes. Well, get up, boom, off they went. The band played, chiddle-a-doo-doo-doo, boom, off they go. And then I look at my board, and I bring back Tommy's Farms back from Barnsley. So I said, ladies and gentlemen, our couple from Maidstone have gone, happy with what they've won. Let's bring back our couple from Barnsley, the 2 Barnsley miners, see what they're going to do with the money. So the band plays, and they come on, these 2 Barnsley miners, with 64 tenors in their hand. Now imagine, this is South Yorkshire with all the troubles, right? They walk on with this money. I'll never forget it. To me, at the mic like that. Yeah. Now, one of the perks of being on Bullseye was, in the front row of the audience, we allowed friends and relatives of the contestants to sit, because they might want to give them a word of encouragement or a little word of advice. You know, something simple like, take the fucking money! So the 2 Barnsley miners walk on with this money, and they're standing there like that. And this is absolutely true. And I'm looking at them, and they've got their money there. I said, all right, lads. Oh, all right, Jim, I said, how much you get? £640. I said, do you want to gamble that £640 for tonight's star prize, which I know is a car, or do you want to keep the money? Now, Tony Greene, is about where that gentleman is off camera, and he's saying to me, they'll do it. They're both county players. 101 or more, right? To gamble to win the car. See? So they're standing there, and all the wives are saying, get off! Keep them, get off! But after what Scargill had done to him in South Yorkshire, you know, that was a fortune. You know, Scargill went to be circumcised, you know, around that time. And when he was on the table, the surgeon said, we can't do that with this man, there's no end to this prick. But they had this... Can we cut that out? And... So they're standing there, and the wives are saying, get off. And they were quite right, because, I mean, under pressure, it's a lot to get 101. So they said, no, Jim, we're all right. Well, we've had a good do. We'll take us money, go home. Oh, well, get home, I'll take money. So they left, right? And then I could see where that gentleman is, just off Greenie, Tony Greene, starting to laugh like a drain. And I'm thinking, I'm looking at my camera, I said, why is he laughing? There's nothing funny about this. And then I say, oh, Christ, Seamus, I've got to bring these 2 guys from... They've got to come back, right? So I carry on. I said, ladies and gentlemen, you remember about 20 minutes ago, the 2 guys from Belfast hadn't done awfully well, but let's see what they're going to do on tonight's edition of Bullseye. And nobody comes on. Nobody comes on. And I'm standing there like, I wait. And then, now let me tell you, behind those dartboards, we built a courtesy bar that lasted a fortnight. We put it up about 6 feet long, and we put a stewardess behind there, and every contestant got a half a beer or a single spirit and a mixer, just to take the edge off, right? And it was always supervised. But this particular night, this stewardess had pissed off home, right? So the two lads from Belfast had gone off, having won £20, walked off, and behind the dartboard had seen this bar with the gate open, and they're from Belfast, so they know they can walk through it. And they walk in, and they see the optics. They try the blue stuff, the red, try that. So for 20 minutes, they're drinking for Ireland. And I go round the back, and they're completely wrecked all over the bar. Smashed. So I said, come on, lads, you're on. They said, where's Dusty been? They're not. But we can't replace them, so we've got to get them sobered up. So we get them coffees and straighten the bits and bobs, put them behind the screen again. Right, ready? Harris is up there. He said, get them bloody sorted out. They're pissed out of their fucking heads. So, right, back, cue Jane, boom. Welcome, Patrick and Shepard from Belfast. Boom, boom. On they come, these guys. I've never seen two men before or since in my life as pissed and still remain mobile. They were like this. And I could hear the director saying to the cameramen, just get their heads. So they come back and they're leaning on the podium thing, you know. They have no idea where they are. I said, welcome back, lads. They said, no problem, Ted. I said, how much have you won? They said, what? What? I said, how much did you win? Won? I said, earlier, we're playing the game, throwing, no, nothing. I said, you did? No, we didn't. I said, you did? No, we won nothing. I said, I took him to one side. I said, you fucking did. He says, yes, we did. How much did you win? Oh. I said, have a look in your pocket. So the one guy went, and he pulled out these two tenors. Oh, £20. Yes. I said, now, would you like to gamble the £20 that you've won for tonight's star prize, which is hiding behind Bully? You need 101 or more, non-dart player to go first, to win the prize. Now, for those of you who are into accountancy, you will realise it's very much a no-lose situation for them, because the £20 they're gambling was ours half an hour ago, and I'm asking them to gamble £20 of what was our money for our car. So it's very much a have-a-go time, isn't it? So I said, would you like to gamble? You need 101 or more. And I started to walk to the board, and the one guy said, just a minute. I said, what? Yeah, just a minute, don't rush. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They're talking to one another, saying, what do you think? I'm saying, what do you think? And the one said, they don't know we've had all that drink, you know. We stuffed them on the bar, and we got £20. I think we keep the money. I said, what? He turned back, he said, we've had a lovely day, so we'll keep the money. So suddenly, we've no show. Nobody wants the bloody car. It's like tearing the last page out of a book. Bullseye was all about, look at what you could have won, you prat. Doesn't it? That was what it's about. And nobody gave a toss about the car. We couldn't transmit that. You couldn't watch that at home and say, oh, what a load of bollocks that was. Nobody did give it. So I'm knackered. I were all right. I said, right, leave it. Harris comes down. He says, what's the bloody game, he said. And he goes to these two, why won't you gamble? It's a lovely prize, brum, brum, behind there. It's a nice prize. You love it, brum, brum, behind there. Because we're not allowed to tell them what it is, you see. Why won't you, well, we had a lovely, don't give me that lovely day. He said, if you don't gamble, he said, I have no bloody show, so I want you to piss it and gamble. You can stick the show up your arse. And they walked out, right? Harris walked out after them. I walked out after Harris. I certainly wouldn't have walked out in front of Harris. And as I got out the back, Harris has got him in a corner. Lovely guy, this Harris, by the way. He said, listen, lads, he said, I'm sorry, I'll get cross. He said, here's another £20. So he took £20 out of his pocket. Here's another £20, and he put it in the top pocket. Keep that £20 I'm giving you now, but gamble that £20 that you won. And they said, that sounds all right. I'm thinking, who's bloody crackers here, you know? Eh? So we do it. I don't know where, so I'm back to my place, right? The two Irish lads go off around the back. The researcher takes them. Peter goes back upstairs, moves his freezers, gets his eyeshadow right. Ready, boys? Here we go. Cue Jim. Welcome back. Patrick and Seamus from Belfast. The two guys come on, marginally more sober this time, right? I'm thinking, we're all right here. Welcome back, lads. No problem, Jim. I thought they've got the name right. We're there. I said, how much have you won, lads? £40. Oh! No. No. No, it's 20. No, it's £40. The woofter gave us another 20 round the back. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Stop it. Can't do that. You can't transmit that. Stop it. I said, just go off, come on again, and just say £20. Right. This is absolutely true. So I'm off. Harris is up there, and I said, but it's flying. Smacking. Cue Jim. Welcome. So they come back, they stand there. Welcome back, lads. No problem, Jim. I said, now then, how much money did you... Jim, we won £20. Oh, yes. I said, now then, would you like to get... You need 100? The one said, we want no more questions. Because we don't do questions. We know what we've got to do to win whatever's behind that board there with whatever we've got here. We need 101 or more. And the non-dart player goes first. And whatever I don't get, he's got to get between us. Whatever we've got, you've got, need for us both to win, whatever it is behind. And I thought, well, I'll buy that. So the geography of the last 2 minutes of Bullseye, and the ending's a bit naughty, I make no apology for it. There's the dartboard. I'm standing here with the dart player, who still thinks he's on 3-2-1. The non-dart player's there to throw the darts. This is absolutely true there. And Tony Green's there. This guy's still well under the weather. Tony says, here we go, take your time, nice and easy, pump, 101 or more with 6 darts. Off you go. First dart. Treble 19. Greenie said, it's a lot, is that? 57. Suddenly, the chemistry in the whole studio changes because a ruptured gerbil can get 44 with 5 darts, can't they? So they're going to win the car. So Harris is up there, start the pissing car, they're going to win the car. Get ready to drive that car out. We're there. He doesn't know what he's thrown, this guy. The guy next to me is still thinking about a poem. Right? He throws a second dart. It's absolutely treble 19 again. Right next to him, 114. They've won the car. Greenie's speechless. I said, shout the score out, you prat. So he just went in, and all he did, yes, because the camera had gone right in and got the 2 darts in the bed. Everybody's cheering, the band start playing, the car comes out, the audience is cheering, and the camera comes right into the dart player, who shouts at the top of his voice, why can't I throw some fucking darts then? We lost. We lost the car because they won it. We lost all the prizes because they won them. We lost the show because we couldn't get the F word out of the middle of a sentence. The producer went straight. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been absolutely marvellous. Thank you very much indeed for coming. You've been absolutely brilliant. Thank you.